Good morning. It is 7:21 a.m. on Friday, June 5th, 2020. I'm Christiana Ellis, and I just took a shower, and this is 5 more minutes. So, Rocket is all in a tizzy this morning because I haven't given him his breakfast. What's up with that? I took away his water bowl. What? 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 This is a clear violation of the super team social contract. What he doesn't realize is that because I mentioned last week that I had been wrong about the date of his appointment, um, it is in fact today, and so that means that since 6 o'clock last night, no food or water for the little boy. And he is not not best pleased with this turn of events. Which, I mean, I don't blame him. Dogs, if you've never lived with a dog before, you may not realize how important routines are to them. Doing things the same way, in the same order, at around the same times every day is definitely something that they are at the very least interested in. Like that's what they like to see happen. Sorry, I didn't dry my hair enough. It's kind of dripping down my face. Um, so any disruption, especially when it concerns their food and water, is a matter of concern. He's wandered off into the other room. What you doing, buddy? I think he's just checking to make sure I didn't put his food in the other room or something. He's a good boy. But for his own good, he is going to the vet today, and as I mentioned last week, the idea is that he's got a few of his puppy teeth that didn't come out correctly and just got pushed to the side by his grown-up dog teeth. Need to be extracted, and I'm going to take the opportunity, now that he is 6 months old, to go ahead and relieve him of a burden. Which, it's just like, it's the responsible thing to do as a pet owner, honestly, and it's gonna just probably forestall some bad behavior that would make it more difficult for us to have, I don't know, like, so, yeah, I don't have to sell you guys on having your dogs fixed, I hope. Anyway, but yeah, at the same time, like, even as I know it's the right thing to do, there is a little bit of like, oh, my poor little boy is having to, he has to go get surgery, and it's not probably what he would choose, but, that's the responsibility of the owner. You have to be able to make those decisions. Anyway, yeah, so all of that obviously is, banal, personal stuff. Whereas outside in the outside world, all sorts of awful things continue to happen. Yeah, I definitely. I learned a phrase recently, just earlier this week, that I think as soon as I say it, everyone will know what I'm talking about, and that is doom scrolling. Now, if that's not something that immediately resonates with you, then probably you don't spend a lot of time on social media. Because what I mean, of course, by doom scrolling is the idea that you just have to constantly keep refreshing Twitter or Facebook or whatever, kind of unable to look away from the constant atrocities unfolding everywhere in the world, and seeing the same video snippets over and over again, and it's probably like I cannot imagine that it is a good behavior from a mental health standpoint. Certainly, it kept me awake last night. Like I was doing that for far longer than I really should have. Is certainly because it's one thing that I think it is important to stay informed, right? To be aware of the world outside your door. And I think social media can be very helpful in that regard. But it certainly also has its pitfalls. And so, certainly, when it comes to the point of you've really learned all you're going to learn in a day, and now all you're doing is spending an hour and a half watching everybody else talk about the same lack of knowledge that you have, and so like, oh, yep, some horrible new example of police abusing protesters. Who is this guy? Everyone's talking about who he is. Everyone agrees that's awful. You get the occasional people coming in there and saying, well, what did he expect? He existed in the proximity of a police officer. He should have known better. Anyway, yeah, so if you can, everyone, try to give yourself a break from the doom scrolling. But, on the other hand, take some of that mental energy and maybe look for ways to actually help. Anyway, I will leave it there, and I will talk to you all tomorrow for 5 more minutes.